trying something new. We are in the car today. Welcome to another edition of Spiritual Sunday. I am here with Lee, and we're in the car, and we can actually see ourselves this time, so this is very interesting. This is very interesting. We have, we're talking about karma and patience today, and I really hope that you guys enjoy.
Driving patience.
It's very essential, especially driving out here in Denver. Please have patience, be a defensive driver, and yeah, be good stuff. So I'm excited to get into this, and actually I will say we were supposed to do our Summer of Love event today. It got canceled because of the rain. We rescheduled it. It is now on the 18th. So on June 18th at noon, we will be going live at the Karma House, so you guys can see what our holistic wellness events are all about. And if you're in the Colorado area, if you're in the Denver, Lakewood area, come down and visit us at the Karma House. We'll be there we'll be there all day, but come and visit us from like noon to 5, and yeah, we'll have a good time. We'll have healing, food, community, games. It's gonna be lots of fun. So let's hop into it. Let's hop into karma. And this topic was actually inspired by a post that I saw on a Reddit thread, and people were just very confused about the concept of karma. Karma comes from Hindu belief systems, and what karma is, like an entity, karma is a force of nature, and ultimately karma is a balance. So it's like the laws of energy. Everything, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is karma. Karma is balance. Karma is ultimate balance. If you do one thing, you put an action into the world, that action has consequences, whether it's positive or negative. Yeah. And yeah, what do you have to say about karma?
Karma, so
yeah.
Instead of seeking out revenge, whenever somebody does something wrong, and you hear the saying, karma is a bitch. Karma is a
bitch. She can be a good bitch or a nasty bitch.
Exactly. You don't necessarily have to seek out revenge, because every time somebody does, like she says, when you do something bad, when you put out negative energy like anything else, it comes back to you. So it may not be an immediate effect like we would like.
Right.
But I love karma. Karma, it's the ultimate payback. People realize their fault in their ways eventually. Yeah. Doesn't work as swiftly, but it's a much better punishment in the end to me.
Because at the, when they're receiving, the seeds that they have sown, it's the ultimate balance. Karma is going to give them what they deserve. People receive the life that they deserve when they deserve it.
And so basically, if you let karma handle it, you're out here living your best life. It's putting it in God's hands. Yeah, basically.
It is. It's very heavy to take those actions upon yourself, as if you're the one who has to be the vindicator. Like you're the one who has to make sure that people are receiving their consequences, and you're the one teaching people lessons. More than likely, that's not your fucking job. It's really not your job. It's not. Like, these aren't your kids. These are just other people.
And if you believe in God, we all believe in a higher being.
Yeah.
And it's their purpose to dole out the punishment at the end of the day. If you're just out here living your best life, we've all had, whether we realize it or not, karma has bit us in the ass.
Sure.
Because we've done shit, regardless.
Yeah.
Of whatever. Yeah,
like making jokes about her, and then I fucking trip.
Karma.
I'm like, all right, let me chill out. Let me not do that. And that's just that's not even like a heavy karma, No. That's just that's what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you get talking shit.
Exactly.
You get what you pay for. Whatever you lay down is what you get. You fucking made your bed, now you have to lie in it. And that's what karma is. So I would just be mindful of your actions. Be mindful of your intentions. Your intent is very important. I think a lot of people worry about, at least for me, sometimes what I was worrying about and what I would bring up in therapy is that I would have the best intentions, but my actions, even though I had good intentions, may have caused people not necessarily misfortune, but inconvenience. And I would beat myself up for that, even though my intentions were good. So what therapy has taught me is to give space for myself to hold those emotions, but to also realize that my intent matters a lot. Like what I intended to put out there and what I, actually tried to do and what I did put out there and what I was meaning to give off is also important as much as how people reacted to what I put out there. Because I'm not responsible for other people's reactions. You're not responsible for anybody's actions but your own. So don't hold on to those burdens of guilt and shame and regret because of how other people view you and how other people view your actions and what you put out into the world. Like I'm always trying my best and we're trying to build this community of love and put more healing into the world, build a community where it's a safe space for people out here and even online. We can, isn't that hilarious? Sorry about that. This is new. This is a new setup.
Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, is this too casual?
I kind of like it.
I like that it's casual.
I like the view.
Yeah, and it's a lot of beautiful light, even though it's super rainy today, which is like, it's not pouring rain right now, but the gloomy weather is what made us cancel the event. Reschedule the event, still happening.
Brings us to patience. Sometimes and karma is the same way. It takes patience to wait for karma to run its course.
Yeah, and you have to have a lot of faith and a lot of trust in those higher powers if you believe in God. I know there's a lot of spiritualists out there that don't necessarily put a name to those higher beings or that higher being. You just know that there's something bigger out there, more consecrated in energy than you are, and it's like that's something you can pray to and something that you can look to help guide you and to help balance you, and that kind of balances the nature of the world. May that be Mother Earth or whatever. You have to have a lot of faith in that, in your own belief system, in your own self, in your own core values, and have that patience, take that leap of faith so that you have the space and the time to just sit with where you are at and I'll just allow it to be. I think allowing stuff to be takes a lot more courage and a lot more stillness of mind than to always be scrambling, always be running and thinking like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, people need to pay for this, I have to find a way to make sure that they know that they can never do that to me again. Beyond just setting clear boundaries, because you can set clear boundaries, but sometimes people don't get the fucking message, and it's not always your job to teach them. Some relationships aren't worth maintaining. It's like I hit it, but I didn't. I didn't hit it.
Yeah, but anyways. Yeah, you did.
I knew it was gonna fall, so I was like, let me grab it, and it fell.
Too slow.
Oh, I haven't seen you grab it.
I'm driving.
Be better. Maybe you weren't driving so crazy. This is just how we are.
I can't help it. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
No, but it's better to just, to me, to focus on your life. You can't worry about one, you're going to always be the villain.
Yeah.
Whether you are or whether you're not, you're going to always be the villain, the bad guy. Even though you put your best foot forward. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, is that you put your best foot forward. Mm-hmm. And you live the best life, treat people the best. And at the end of the day, the people that are the shit people, it'll come back on them. You just have to believe that. It's always come back on them. It may not be in the time that I want, but again, if you believe in God, it's all in God's time.
Yeah. It's that divine timing, that's not your responsibility to look at or to put something onto a schedule like, oh, if something doesn't feel like retribution within the next week, then I'm going to do something. That's very malicious.
When you do something with malicious intent, it comes back and bites you in the ass. That's no karma.
And then you have to sit in malicious energy. You have to sit in that energy of, oh, I've been so wrong that now I'm angry and I'm pissed off and I want to take revenge on them.
And that's a horrible feeling. You're sitting in guilt.
It's a heavy, dirty feeling. Yeah. It really is a heavy, dirty feeling.
And that's your karma.
Yeah.
It depends how you look at it. You're so busy plotting and revenge and everything, you're passing all the goodbye in your life.
Yeah.
It's much like carrying baggage.
It's very much carrying baggage, and then at that point you're carrying baggage that doesn't belong to you.
No.
And I am team, do not fucking carry anybody else's baggage. There is no reason for you to carry anyone else's baggage. It's heavy, it's dirty, and it feels like inherently wrong. Naturally, you know you're not supposed to be doing this. You're around these people and you're like, I should not be with these people. I should not be taking these steps towards revenge and down, like in a path that's downwards, full of hatred. There's no reason for me to be in that path of hatred. And I get it. It's almost natural when we are wronged, you know, for us to feel some type of way in ourselves. Like, hey, I've been wronged, so I feel like something needs to be done to make me feel right. But your job in that situation is to make your own, like, what's going to make you feel good enough to have acceptance. And I think that's a combination of patience and self-reflection, knowing that those things are not entirely your fault, even though they happen to you, and you had a part in developing a relationship that you were wronged in. The actions of others that have wronged you are not your fault. The abuse that you had to endure or take on emotionally, physically, spiritually is not your fault. And it's kind of hard for us to accept that because it's happening to us. So it feels very personal.
And everybody wants to be a control freak.
Yeah.
This comes with patience as well.
You have to be patient. I think patience is something that takes time to develop, but patience is a virtue. It's one of my favorite virtues, and it's helpful in all aspects of life.
Right.
There's not just having people in like love when you have patience with them. When you have patience, you're just overall more happy. You're not concerned about trivial shit.
That's what happens when you lose your shit.
You throw a tantrum.
Yeah, you're angry.
You're just throwing a big ass tantrum. You look like a big ass baby.
That, and you're angry and you're miserable, and you're making others around you miserable, and that's really not what a community is about. We're supposed to be out here making everybody's life better. We're a community. We're supposed to help each other out, help each other grow, and us out throwing tantrums and losing our shit is not conducive. So you have to learn to have patience, because there's a lot of times I've been angry this week, and Lejeune can testify to that. But I've had to step back. I've tried to be better, and step back and take a deep breath, because if you do have patience, people are more willing to work with you. Instead of you throwing a tantrum out here, having a fit, plotting revenge, nobody wants to be around all that negative energy.
Nobody.
And we're supposed to be about light. We're supposed to be, I know it's not always easy. Again, that's where patience comes into play.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it all comes full circle, always. Everything always comes full circle.
Yeah, life is very cylindrical. It is, and that is a very spiritual belief. There's a lot of religions, and most spiritualists believe that life is very cylindrical. It's natural. It's natural for us to come back to where we started, or to come back and, you know, look back at ourselves and reflect. And it's lovely to have that patience. Like, I can't imagine not having patience in my life, because when I'm going through turmoil, when, you know, crazy things happen, like when we had to cancel our event literally this morning, we had to reschedule it this morning. If I didn't have patience, I would be like pissed and anxious and stressed for hours, like hours of stress, because it took hours for us to figure out when we could actually reschedule that event. And like, that is not conducive to a growing experience, or like an experience where I can build anything at all, let alone myself or my business. And some things that I do to like just help me with patience, and this is nothing new, I'm sure you've heard of it, but like, try to meditate, do some breath work. Breath work is essential.
It is.
It really is. Like, even if you just want to take a deep belly breath into your belly, in your chest into your belly, delicious. I found that like learning about our energies, like prana, learning about prana, especially being a yin teacher, and like how breath flows through you and where you can hold your breath and how powerful the breath is, really shows you how like stupid simple it is for you to come back to your breath, but also how difficult it is to just come back to your breath. Because sometimes when you're just like stirring in the pot, like simmering in the sauce that is distraught, that fucking rhymed. When you're like simmering in that pot, come back to the breath. Like, always come back to the breath. It is a very grounding place for you to be, because that comes from within inside yourself. It gives you vitality, it gives you fluidity, and it comes from inside. You both inhale and exhale, you become one with the earth that is around you, and you breathe all the time. So it's just being more intentional with the breath, and doing some breath work practices.
Yeah, I
can be
agree.
life-changing.
Because people who know me, I'm a short person with a short I have a short people problem. Many of y'all can relate, probably. But no, I've gotten better. It does help to breathe. I know it sounds stupid, like, I'm not gonna fucking breathe. How's that gonna fucking help?
Like I'm breathing right now.
Yeah, but it calms you down when you
It's
take
intentional breathing.
Yeah, because you have to stop and focus on your breathing. Like, I take deep breaths and then it starts to
Mellow out.
Yeah, I mellow out, and then I can have a chance to actually stop and think about what I need to do to fix whatever is going on.
Because when you really take a time in your, when you take the time to sit with yourself in your emotions, to have that patience with yourself, you realize that your breath changes, your heart pace changes, your body changes when you're feeling certain emotions. And so having that patience and giving yourself enough space to experience your emotions without judgment, and without action, is very important for you to be able to self-reflect, so that you can actually feel what it means to be angry, feel what it means to be whatever emotion that you are experiencing, and then use the breath to calm yourself in those situations, to find more acceptance in those areas.
Because when you're in those areas, you see red. You're no longer focused. All you're focused on is the anger, and you're not in the right mind to make a decision to fix stuff. Like, perfect example this morning was I knew there's all this stuff that I'd been up since 5:30 trying to get ready for this event, and I started to panic because we were going to try to make it work no matter what.
Yeah, like we knew it was going to rain yesterday. We had gotten tarps. We were trying to get prepared for, to have the most successful event that we could have.
And make it happen however we can make it happen.
Yeah, and make it work, because that's what we do. We make stuff work.
But I literally called Lejeune and I was like, I'm about to lose my fucking shit. And her words were, have you taken a moment for yourself? I'm like, no.
Wait.
No, I haven't. I don't have time for this shit. And then I started to calm myself down. She always calms me down, though, but it's true. No, I don't have the time to take a moment, but just by her saying that made me more conscious of because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to live in that space ever. No. I'm beyond it. I've grown. I don't want to be that person. And it just, since I've grown and I'm no longer that person, it just feels icky.
Yeah, it does feel icky, because you know what it's like to be in control of the mind, in control of your body, in control of your spirit. So to lose control to something like your emotions, it feels,
especially when you have no
childish.
You cannot control it. There's nothing I could do to make it better. There's just nothing.
No, yeah. When things are beyond your control, especially, is when we tend to be the most frustrated.
Yes, and we need to be more accepting.
Yeah, and breath work and patience will really help you with that acceptance. And it honestly will, and it just helps you. One, it helps you get into your body, because when you're experiencing all of those emotions, you tend to be outside of yourself. So sometimes we have to make our way back inside. We got to make our way back into our hearts, into our own spaces. And that's where you can feel where you are and kind of grasp yourself and take more control over the power that you do have, because you have complete control over yourself.
You do. But it was a struggle this week, and Lejeune helped me.
Thank you.
Calm myself. Well, because we have so much going on.
Yeah.
And we kind of balance each other out, and I hope that you have that someone as well, a really good friend.
Yeah.
If not, always reach out to us. Or we understand.
Yeah. We actually really love and care about you guys.
We have a lot of empathy. We can we can empathize. We can help.
I do.
We're great at helping people, and we want the feedback.
We do. We want to be as helpful as we can possibly be. We love sharing stories and experiences on here.
Because we are real people.
Yeah, like I'm a real person. I know it's so funny. Even like in real life, I tell people this. I'm like, doing events and stuff. I'm like handing out my business cards. I'm like, this is my real number. Like, this is really me. Yeah. I'm like, I'm real. Call me.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Like, I will actually be here and I'll answer. And then like people will come to me with their, their physical ailments, their body issues. And I literally immediately, I'm like, okay, I will whip you up a yin flow to help you. I will hear solutions. And I just send them the solutions and they're like, wow.
That's what we're about. I mean, we had an instance today. A friend is struggling, and I got on the phone, made a phone call.
Immediately.
I can't do it myself, but maybe I can find an answer for you. And she didn't even know what I was doing. But that's
and then she looked over at me. I was like, Lee's helping. She's gonna make it work. She's gonna make it work.
I gotta make it better.
She's gonna find a solution. Like, don't even trip. She's got it. She's gonna find a solution for you.
And that's what. And it was totally off topic. It had nothing to do.
No, nothing to do at all. We were like sitting in a business meeting.
Yeah.
It was like totally off topic, but
she was off, and I could tell, and I wanted to help, and that's what we're the type of we want a community where we all help each other grow, because we're all at different stages in our life, and you may struggle with trying to figure out how to breathe, how to get this patience. And again, I've been a hothead most of my life, and I would react, but as I've gotten older, I've learned not to do that, and I become more. It's a great feeling because you're actually taking control. Before, when you're out of control, you think you're controlling everything. You're really not.
You're not. You're a victim to your emotions.
Yes, exactly. You want to be a control freak, but you're not really controlling the whole circumstance. When you're able to step back, take a breath, and breathe, then you take control.
Yeah, because you are now with a clear perspective that you can actually find real solutions, like logical solutions that are based on reality, rather than
focusing in the red. You're just always in the red. You can't. You're just reacting. You're not actually focusing on what the solution could be. That's the other thing.
Just the issues. Like, that's one thing is when I'm feeling like, if I'm stuck in my emotions and I don't have the space for myself to ground myself to do that breathwork practice, I will find that I'm fixating on problems rather than solutions to the problem, which is like the big issue here. That's like, there's a clear difference. It's a subtle difference. It's two different things, and you can cross over that boundary, but you have to get over that boundary, and it takes that patience. It takes that stepping back and that breath and that clear perspective.
And that's why we're people of solutions. We're not. I'm not going to give you an excuse. No, I can't do it. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, I hate excuses. Yeah, excuses drive me crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, people prefer that. Like, even it's the simple things. Even if you're like running late, instead of being like, "Oh, I am so sorry, I'm late." Like, "Hey, thank you for waiting for me. Thanks for having patience with me. There was traffic, but I appreciate you guys."
Because making excuses is not going to make it better.
No,
they're not going to have empathy. They're not going to care. You're late.
No.
At the end of the day, you're
late. Like, you can't really change that.
No.
So I'm just like, thank you.
Own up to it.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. Sense of responsibility. Come on, people.
It's a real sense of responsibility of your own self. Yeah. Right. Stop being a victim to life. That's one thing that I don't have a lot of patience for, just because when I would have a lot of patience for it, I would just get taken advantage of, just get used for all the patience that I have. Like, oh, it doesn't really bother her, because of all that patience she has, then I can kind of just do whatever.
I'm gonna take advantage of it. Yeah, I'm
just gonna show up whenever I show up. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And like, nobody likes a friend who's constantly late. They don't. Like, you don't want to be the late friend because everyone else is on time, and they're like, or
the friend that everybody is carrying the weight. Nobody appreciates that person.
They don't, because they're so used to them carrying the weight. Exactly. They're used to 5 pounds.
And then when you don't fucking step up, they're like, what happened to you? You gonna get mad at me? I've been carrying the weight of this relationship.
They're like, how
What the
come you're
fuck?
not doing what you used to do?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
tired.
exhausting. It's very exhausting. And I'm very happy that within this past year, I found good friendships and relationships that like want to grow with me and build with me and support me when I'm feeling down, and I can support them. And we just really care about each other. Our relationships are built.
Judge.
No, there's no judgment.
As you can tell, I'm very open about my flaws. Go back. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. No, I'm on my own little journey. But again,
Always.
like I lost my shit this morning, and she's like, "Hey, have you grounded yourself?" No, I don't have time for that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna snap, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing like literally 4 days ago, and I just had done a lot of healing work, and I was like, I'm fine. And Lee's like, you're off. I'm like, fuck you, you're off. I literally said that. And then I was like, wait, am I off?
Whoa. Exactly. I was like, whoa.
You might be right now that I'm like reflecting on that response. Like, because that was just my immediate reaction. I didn't think about that. I just said it. I just felt defensive. And I was like, why am I being so defensive with Lee? I think I am off.
Because we are good friends and the way we do communicate, we just get over it and move on, or we help each other because we catch ourselves.
Yeah,
when we're off.
She knows that there was no malintent behind that. You know,
I was butthurt, but I wasn't.
You could have absolutely 1,000% been butthurt about that, but you knew that was just like a reactionary self-defense mechanism.
And I was like, okay.
It was literally just a self-defense mechanism. Like I wasn't trying to be malicious. I was just like, oh, well, I feel kind of attacked, so now I want to attack you. And then I was like, why am I attacking anybody? Lee didn't attack me. Lee did not attack me.
Karma.
You are helping me. Oh my goodness.
It is karma. She's like, oh shit, wait.
I mean, that's good karma, because then that just helped. That like was a light to me, you know, like, hey, flashing lights, look at that, sis. You need to cleanse yourself. You need to realize what you've been doing is a lot of energy work, and that takes energy from you. So you need to go ahead and rebalance again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like that. She's not used to it. It's on a different level for you now.
Yeah, I'm not used to doing that like on a weekly basis. I'm not. That's why I moved into kind of what we're doing now, is just helping people and guiding people. Spreading information is kind of where I'm used to being. I enjoy being a yin teacher. I do. It's lots of fun. But it's crazy to think about, but healing one-on-one for yin teachers and for yoga is a lot more energetically draining than it is healing a class. Because like all of my energy and focus goes onto that one student, and they have a lot more space that I've made available that's just for them, and thus they take up as much of that space as they can, and sometimes it's a lot more space than I initially think. And I'm like, oh, okay, as we're getting into it, I'm like, all right, a couple minutes in, okay, sis needs all of the space that I have.
Right.
She needs all of it.
You become a lot more patient.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
I'm like constantly getting more patience. I'm very young. I am very young, and like
But as our journey has gone on, I'm
still
learning
growing.
more about. You're growing, but I'm also growing.
Yes,
and we kind of feed off of each other, and that's what we want. We want a community that feeds off of each other, and karma is about paying it forward.
Yeah, it is.
And we didn't, because none of us got here on our own. Mm-mm. Somebody had to, whatever stage you are in your life, somebody was there to support you and help you get where you are. And the whole point in life is to help each other grow, and that is our goal. Yeah. Somebody helped us grow and get where we're at, so we want to make sure we pay it forward again.
Exactly.
It's a version of karma.
It's literally like karma, and sometimes, you know, we want to pay it forward maybe exactly to that person that gave it to us, but sometimes it doesn't even need to be that person. It just needs to go back into the world, so that energy can be repurposed for a greater power, you know, so that love can be repurposed to whoever needs it the most.
It's good. So I know we touched on the base of karma and revenge, but you also have heard people sit there and say, put good karma back out in the world, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
By helping others grow. And that's what we want for you to grow.
Yes.
And hopefully something that we say touches or resonates with you.
Yeah.
And then as you're going on through your daily life, like me, when she's like, hey, have you grounded? And I'm like, I ain't got time for that shit. I stop. and then get back on track.
Yeah, because even, I get it, we are so busy doing multiple jobs.
And we're constantly apologizing to each other, just so you know, because there's nothing wrong with that. If you're out of line, apologize.
Yeah.
Whether you mean it or not.
Like, I'm sorry I fucked up.
It's something small, but at least you recognize it's also training your brain to recognize when you go off track.
Yeah. Because we all go off track.
Exactly.
And it's very egotistical of you to think that you never go off track or that you're always correct. Because one thing I've learned in this journey through experience is that you are a fucking human being, and human beings are bound to making mistakes.
Exactly.
You are on this earth to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. And I'd be very surprised if you didn't make at least one mistake every couple fucking hours.
Right.
Like, things just happen. Things just happen. Like,
that's part of being humble. At the end of the day,
if you're not humble enough to accept that you're a human that makes mistakes, you got it. You're starting from square one, love.
Yeah.
You are starting from square one, because that's ego work. That's identity work. That's like, you don't know yourself enough or who you are as a being, that you believe you're so high in this place that you don't make mistakes. I can't imagine how that feels. I can't imagine how that feels, because I've been in the place where it was like the only thing I could ever do was make mistakes. And now I've gotten to this place where, like, okay, I'm learning a lot more from my experiences. I'm taking these lessons and I'm applying these lessons to my life. And yeah, I make mistakes and that's okay, but I also make great fucking decisions. So I don't know what it's like to be on the opposite end of that spectrum.
But as you grow, you also have to have patience with yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. As long as you understand you're on a journey. I mean, we all beat ourselves up.
Yeah. Not everyone.
No. Well,
not on the other side of the spectrum.
I can't speak for them.
They beat other people up.
Yeah, they do. And you can only be out here. You have no control over people, circumstances, and you have to accept that. Yeah. You have to stay humble, and you have to pay it forward.
Yeah, please pay it forward. It actually feels really good to pay it forward. And it can be the smallest gesture. It doesn't have to be something big and grand. I think what a lot of people do that's very of the ego is that they try to fix everyone else's life. You know, they try to say like, oh, I'm at this place where I can just fix everyone else's life, like unsolicited advice. You know, even if you don't really know that person, even if you don't really truly know the full circumstance of that situation, and you're just out spouting advice, being like, oh, blah, 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 and it's like more or less irrelevant. That's not your fucking job.
It's not, so don't volunteer.
It's not your job, yeah. It's one thing when people ask for advice.
We actually had that conversation where we're like, how are you to tell me how I am or what I'm going
what
through?
I need to do. Yeah,
exactly.
And even if you are a healer or someone that has intuitional abilities and you're getting messages and you're just like,
you can share the information, but don't come at me and tell me I'm living my life wrong.
Yeah, because as someone with an intuition, you should also know messages are not received that way. No one is going to receive that message that way if you're looking down at them, telling them they're wrong. No, they need empathy. They need someone to come onto their level like, hey, I don't know if you thought about this. I don't know, I don't know everything, but here's kind of a perspective that I can share that might be helpful.
Right.
That's a lot better approach, and that is a mindful approach, and that's a holistic help, like a healer's approach. And even, not most people approach that way. So I get wanting to help other people. I'm constantly, I want to help other people too. Whenever I have the space to help other people, I love to help them, but I never come at them in that way because I know they're not going to receive that message. I wouldn't listen to someone, even if I was in a state of needing advice and needing help. If someone was talking to me in that way, I'm not fucking listening to them. Actually, I might do exactly the opposite of what they said to me just because they talked down to me. Because who are you as a human being to talk down to anyone? You're not higher than anyone else. You're not more important than anyone else. You're not more of anything than anyone else at all. So you don't have the title, you don't have the authority to in your adult everyday life, right? There's a lot of different dynamics where that is different, and I think people know how to approach that, hopefully. Like if you are a teacher, you know, if you're some type of holistic coach, if you're a therapist, if you're a healer, but you were hopefully taught how to approach those situations so that messages can be received in the best way.
Patience.
Yeah, and they have patience.
You know, have patience with the way you deliver, because you can't just talk. Sometimes you have to pick the right moment. That's patience.
That's patience. And if
how you deliver that message, patience.
It's so true, because as you know, as someone, you kind of over time you develop intuitional like senses that are related to your life, you know, like if you're healing people, if you're teaching, and I think we all know this, like if you're working your job, you just know when something's going to happen before it even happens because of what you've experienced in that field, and that is a developed sense of intuition, and you can develop that in all aspects of your life, but you already probably have developed intuitional senses, and it's going to be easier for you to like just pinpoint them, and you're like, oh, okay, I see what the fuck they're talking about. Yes.
But you gotta have the patience. You can't work in the red.
You can't work in the red, blue, or yellow. You can't work in those colors, man. They're too intense. It's too intense. When you're feeling those intense emotions, please just sit with yourself for a little bit. Even if you have, honestly, like we get very busy doing what we do, working, going to school, whatever you're doing. It can always feel like our life is busy and filled with things, but just take 3 breaths. Take 1 deep breath.
Yeah, I mean, like you're already breathing.
Yeah,
you're already breathing, like you said. So it doesn't kill me just to slow my breath down and stop and think about what's going on. I'm not actually, I mean, we all say stop, take a moment for yourself. Literally, you're already breathing. You're already breathing.
And now it's just like breathe. Okay, thinking. Okay, I'm gonna inhale. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna exhale. I'm gonna inhale. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna exhale. I'm gonna inhale to my chest. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna exhale. I'm gonna inhale to my chest, into my belly. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna exhale. It's just having.
It sounds longer than it actually is. When you actually go through the motion, though, it's not. It's like
it's really not.
It's everyday breathing.
Yeah.
And your mind, and in that those couple of seconds that it takes you to breathe, you're actually refocusing.
You're changing your energy doing that. That is transmutation. That's transmutation at its finest, and it feels very magical to do it. It does. It makes you feel more in control.
Exactly. When you gain control, you feel so much better.
Yeah, control over your mind and your body, your spirit is like essential, I think, to living your best life, to living the happiest life that you can live, that you are in control of, that you get to decide, you get to be the co-creator of, is when you had that peace of mind. And I think the biggest struggle for all of us is continuing to have that peace of mind when there are challenges and tribulations in front of us. Because it's a lot easier to be joyful and still when you are in a happy place, but we're not always in the happiest of places.
No.
So how can you have that peace of mind then?
And it's easier just to run into it. Just like, oh, it's easier for me to be angry right now instead of taking a second, calming down, and figuring out how to fix this.
Yeah.
I know I get we all want to vent. We all want people to commiserate, but you can't do that on a daily, 24/7.
Every single time.
No, you're making everybody... You make it to where people don't want to really be around you because you're just an angry person, and that's all you do is focus on the negative. Again, that's putting good karma out there. Good karma is putting out positive vibes and focusing on the positive, and that's what we do. I don't want to ever be one of those people. I try to find solutions. Every now and then I have a weak moment where I have a little bitch fest. We all have bitch fests. But I don't live in that darkness.
No.
It's just me venting, and then I move on with my life. I don't choose to just let it consume me. And again, that's where you let karma just handle whatever needs to be handled.
Exactly.
As long as you're putting positive vibes out there, good's gonna come to you. But if you live in fucking darkness, you're fucking schlepp rock with lightning bolts shooting out at you.
Can't be surprised
that's
that
your
it's
bad
darkness.
karma. That is bad karma. You put negative energy out there, you receive negative energy.
Yeah.
Karma.
And I think it's like important to know when you're venting, that's a form of release. You are releasing, and you can let it go, or you can vent and hold and like suck it back in, hold back onto it.
But then you're not really venting.
No, you're not. You're just talking shit and spreading it
You're
around.
wallowing.
You're just like
you're wallowing in the fucking. You're just wallowing in the mess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just like rubbing it all around.
It's called venting for a reason. Yeah, vent, it
and
goes.
Yeah, whatever you gotta do to let it go so that you can find that acceptance, just let it go.
Exactly.
Just let it go. Honestly, I don't believe you should. I personally have the belief system that you don't need to hold on to anything. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't need to hold on, because that's a scarcity mindset. Right. You don't need to hold on to love. You don't need to hold on to money. You don't need to hold on to hate, onto joy, onto happiness, because everything, and to everything just comes, back around what needs to come around. I'm going to attract what I need to attract. I don't have to, why am I holding on to things, Why am I so stuck onto like grasping onto things as if I'm never going to have them again? So it's important to let it go.
It's kind of like arguing. That's why I don't let people have power over me.
No, we can have a discussion. Mm-hmm. Let's talk. We can chat.
Giving your power away.
I'm not having the same argument with you more than one time. There is no reason for me to. You heard my message. I heard your message. We have an understanding with each other. We understood each other. We clarified with each other. What more are we talking about? Why are we talking things to death? There's no reason to talk things to death. Unless you guys just want to argue.
Or you just don't have all the brain cells. I don't know. Sometimes people don't get it the first time around and it confuses me. Yeah. Or they get it and they just want to continue to have the same conversation over and over and over again.
I can't anymore. I can't do stagnicity. I can't do repeating patterns like that anymore. Like, I'm like, I'm not going to let this turn into a pattern. After one time, okay, there's nothing I can do about that. 2 times, all right, that's getting a little too familiar with me. Definitely does not get to 3 times at this point. 3 times is a fucking pattern.
Is it this road?
Yes, ma'am.
Look at me.
Remembering. Remember berries. Yeah.
To make it go flying across the room.
That's the first conscious turn she's ever made in her whole life, probably. Yes. But yeah, that was like, I feel like we hit what we needed to hit for karma and just to have patience.
And patience, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a lot to say about patience. Patience it's such a beautiful thing.
It is.
It really is. It's such a calm feeling. It's like a wave of calmness over you when you do have patience, because like you make that choice to be patient. You can choose to be patient or you could choose to be angry, and no matter what, you're spending the same amount of time doing both things. So it's like, why am I choosing to be angry? Why am I choosing?
You actually use less energy, I think. You
use so much less energy. You are so much more efficient when you're patient. Way more efficient. Because when you're patient, you get to a point where you don't even, like the small stuff you don't even gotta vent about. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even matter. Just completely rolls past you.
Off your back.
Just rolls off. It doesn't even matter.
Whereas
like,
anger,
oh, here it was. Okay, now it's gone. But anger's like, oh, here it was. Wait.
I need to expect it. Now I'm angry and I'm walking around.
I'm like, why am I angry?
Right.
Oh my goodness, I need to expect all of this anger instead of just like kind of letting it flow away from you.
Right.
Yeah, and it's unnatural for you to hold on to all of that. It is, and that's when you keep holding on to all of that stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if you start to experience physical manifestations such as body aches and sickness, headaches, and just aches all over your body, lacerations, especially in the mouth and the throat. It's very angry. Anger can cause real physical issues in your life. Yeah, make it right. Yeah. So choose patience. I would choose patience any chance you get.
Patience, positive vibes, put good karma out there, whatever you do, because it comes back. It will.
Yeah. Reflect on like your best intentions.
Always
and
put
honestly,
your best foot forward.
It's really awesome to start your day off with, just some space for yourself. Take a couple of deep breaths when you wake up in the morning. Thank the Lord for the day. Do what you gotta do to feel grateful.
You just started doing that, right? You said for a while it was a hard struggle for you to get out of bed.
Yeah, so I started doing praying in the morning maybe a couple years ago. I was like praying mostly at nighttime, like before I went to bed, and I started doing prayer in the morning and at night when I did my rites as a sacred woman, and they recommended that you're gonna make it right. So to do my rites, I was like, the instructions were for me to do prayers in the morning, in the mid-morning, and also at night. So I was doing a lot of prayer, and what I've adapted into my routine is prayers in the morning and night. And so one of the first things I do when I just wake up in the morning now, I am just immediately grateful, and I want to share my gratitude with the universe, with the Lord, with yeah, I'll fix it, with
Sorry.
no, you're good. Want to share that gratitude with everything that is around me, because I am grateful to be alive. I'm happy to live my life every day, and I want to share that gratitude and love. And it's like a very warm place for me to start my day with, because otherwise I was just like, a couple years ago, I was either just straight up rolling out of bed, just start doing shit, or I would like go onto my phone, go onto social media, check my emails, check my text messages, and that feels a lot more anxiety ridden than
I was about
prayer.
to say that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your day starts off better, calmer, instead of in a frantic rush.
Yeah.
Because you get lost in social media.
You get lost
like,
in the
oh,
social
shit,
media sauce.
I was supposed to be gone like
45 minutes ago.
Or if I don't hurry up and get dressed, now I have
20 minutes to get ready. Yeah, and it's not like that anymore. But also on the flip side of that coin, I forget about social media a lot. I do. Like, just straight up forget. Like, and it's like half my job.
It's okay, I pick up the slack where she lacks.
Thank you.
That's why we balance.
Yes. But we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let us know if you have any more questions, or if you want more techniques about patience, how to spread more good karma around yourself, more positive vibes, maybe good morning and night routines. We would love to share that more, and I'll actually leave some good links down below where it can help you develop those things. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Toodle-oodles.